stop whatever you are doing right now, because the Duffer Brothers just dropped the final trailer for Stranger Things, Season 5, and I am telling you that almost everyone on the internet completely missed the actual scary truth hidden in these crazy frames. If you thought this was just another normal teaser to get you hyped for the summer, you are completely wrong. This is a massive warning shot that our favorite Hawkins crew is about to face total destruction on a scale we have never seen on television before. The stakes have literally never been this high. The creepy alternate dimension vibes are so heavy, you can physically feel them. The hints that our favorite characters are going to die are so obvious, they are practically blinding us to the real tragedy happening in the background. Before we watch Dustin clutch a bloody denim vest and collectively lose our minds and cry in a puddle of our own tears, take a deep breath. Prepare your emotional support system and hit that subscribe button for Scene Tatva right now. We are the only ones breaking down the real story of this mind-bending apocalypse. Trust me when I say, you do not want to face the literal end of the world all by yourself. Alright, let us get right into the crazy movie-level action and expose what everyone else completely missed. We are starting right out of the gate, where Hawkins, Indiana, has been violently transformed from a nostalgic bicycle riding paradise into a brutal and full-blown United States mill. Italy quarantine zone. Bye. We are talking miles of razor-sharp barbed wire, aggressive concrete military checkpoints, and terrified heavily armed soldiers. They are sweeping the area and look like they are absolutely not getting paid enough to deal with shadow monsters ripping through reality. But here is the massive scary detail that everyone is completely ignoring right now. If you pause the video like a true hardcore internet detective at the exact 5-second mark, you will clearly see heavily fortified experimental government research building. They are built directly inside the glowing ash-spewing portals that have torn the town into 4 pieces. This proves without a doubt that the United States government is not just trying to keep people safe. They are actively and recklessly trying to weaponize the literal nightmare creatures of the Upside Down. That is a spectacularly terrible idea that repeats the arrogance of Dr. Martin Brenner and the original sins of Hawkins National Laboratory. While the military plays dangerously with cosmic fire that they cannot possibly understand or control, the trailer unleashes its most emotionally devastating weapon yet. It is a slow and haunting cover of the legendary Queen song, Who Wants to Live Forever. As this super dark music gets louder and plays with our emotions like a master puppeteer, the camera decides to act like an absolute villain. It lingers on a heartbreaking shot of Dustin sobbing uncontrollably in the freezing mud. He is desperately clutching a violently shredded and blood-soaked denim vest that unmistakably belongs to our favorite guy and single mother of 6, Steve Harrington. I need every single one of you to pause this video right now, scroll down, and flood the comments section with the words "Protect Steve." His character story over the last 10 years has been an absolute masterpiece of television writing. He changed beautifully from an annoying hairspray, addicted high school bully into the ultimate and fiercely loyal protector of the friend group. If the writers actually follow through on this visual threat and make him sacrifice himself to hold off a massive swarm of mutated bat monsters at the edge of the giant portal, we'll break the internet down. Doing that just to buy Dustin and Nancy 10 more seconds to escape will go down as the most iconic and devastating television death since the Red Wedding in Game of Thrones. But the fear does not stop there, because the trauma is shared by everyone this season. We urgently need to talk about Will Byers. He is the boy who started it all, and he is still walking around with a massive glowing psychic target painted on his back. In a sequence that is pure psychological horror, we get a terrifying close-up look at the insane new version of Vecna. He is no longer just a wet and fleshy swamp monster hiding in the attic of the Creel house. He has essentially evolved into a sleek and heavily armored cybernetic hybrid, that looks exactly like a dark, demonic version of the villain from Terminator 2. Henry Creel has literally combined his decaying physical body with the dark metallic particles of the upside-down hive mind. This makes him virtually indestructible, while we see this biomechanical nightmare hovering ominously over a paralyzed and trembling Will Byers inside the completely ruined and ash-covered Hawkins Public Library. Vecna gently and terrifyingly lifts Will into the air with a flick of his burnt wrist. He whispers directly into his mind that William is going to help him one last time. This single line of dialogue 100% confirms the most terrifying theory we have had for years. Will has a lingering, traumatic connection to the Shadow Realm. That connection makes him the ultimate anchor that Vecna desperately needs to permanently attach his rotting dimension to our vibrant reality. The Upside Down is famously stuck in a time loop on November 6, 1983. That is the exact day Will was taken. This means the subconscious mind belonging to Will acts as the blueprint of the entire dimension. Vecna needs to consume him to finalize the merge. Let me know in the comments right now if you guys think Will is going to have to make the ultimate heroic sacrifice. Tell me if you think he will destroy his own mind or trap himself in the darkness forever just to break this connection and save his friends. Speaking of beautiful minds currently hanging by a fragile thread, let us talk about the absolute cosmic cheat code that is Max Mayfield. We all know her physical body is currently lying brain dead and blind in a sterile, beeping hospital room. But the trailer confirms that her consciousness is pulling a full-on Christopher Nolan movie trick. She is navigating a surreal and melting dream world that hardcore fantasy fans already know is called Camazotz. It is a giant mental prison entirely controlled by the dark wizard Vecna. In this terrifying psychic arena, we see Max and little Holly Wheeler frantically sprinting through impossible shifting hallways. These hallways suddenly lead to a perfectly clean and completely out-of-place white door, resting on blue wooden stilts in a giant empty space. That specific door is not just a random piece of set design. It is an exact replica of the door leading to Mike Wheeler and his basement. This heavily implies that Max is aggressively using her deepest and happiest childhood memories as a desperate psychic bunker. She is using the foundation of her early days playing arcade games with her friends to hide her soul from Vecna and his searching red spotlights. Meanwhile, back in the grim, neon-lit reality of 1987, Lucas Sinclair is stepping up as the ultimate ride-or-die boyfriend of the century. He is fiercely guarding her hospital room from invading military forces and rogue dog monsters. He is desperately holding a battered boombox to her ears. He is blasting Kate Bush at max volume to keep her soul tied to the physical world before the beep on her heart monitor goes flat forever. And just when you think your heart cannot take another single beat of intense suspense, the trailer aggressively cuts to our resident superhero 11. She has apparently bypassed all known scientific limits and unlocked straight-up God mode. We see her executing a massive telekinetic leap over a 30-foot military wall, while her hands erupt in a violently chaotic clash of bright blue and fiery red supernatural energy. If you know your Stranger Things color theory, you know the cold blue represents the frozen decay of the Upside Down. The aggressive burning red represents the crazy ancient fire of Dimension X. That is the original realm where Henry Creel discovered the shadow particles. This breathtaking visual proves that 11 is not just throwing monsters through brick walls anymore. She is actively attempting to grab the very fabric of space and time and tear it apart to trigger a massive universe-altering time reset. This is the absolute biggest theory breaking the internet right now. If 11 uses her ultimate psychic potential to rewrite history, so the Hawkins lab experiments never happened, the portals would never open, and the monsters would never breach our world. Daddy, Amy, what did now? It's the world. But she might accidentally have to delete her own existence from the timeline entirely to balance the massive cosmic scales. This would lead to a heartbreaking and bittersweet tear-jerker of a finale. Mike and Dustin and Lucas and Will and Max would grow up as perfectly normal, untraumatized 80s teenagers. They would go to prom and play board games and live in a peaceful suburban town. They would be completely and tragically unaware of the bald-headed superhero girl who sacrificed her very reality to give them a normal, beautiful life. Tell me in the comments if you think 11 will actually survive the finale, or if she is destined to be the tragic savior of the universe. This heavy apocalyptic tone is further locked in by the fast and gritty glimpses of our adult characters. Will Byers and Jim Hopper survived the freezing, miserable hell of a Russian prison camp, only to return home and lead a panicked civilian group through the burning ash-covered streets of downtown Hawkins. Hopper is rocking his classic but incredibly dirty and blood-stained police uniform. He is clutching a high-powered assault rifle. This proves the fight has completely left the woods and is now actively destroying their town. The local strip malls and video stores and arcades are turning into a literal war zone. This visually turns the entire show into a high-action, desperate survival movie. It seamlessly blends the creeping psychological dread of a scary Stephen King novel with the explosive action of an alien movie. It shows us that the adults are finally on the front lines protecting their kids from the apocalypse. And do not miss the incredibly important quick shot of Scott Clark. He is the unsung hero and legendary science teacher who practically spoon-fed the kids the rules of the multiverse for 3 years. He is standing in front of a chaotic chalkboard, drawing frantic diagrams of wormholes and folding space. This specifically points to the terrifying gelatinous cube theory. The merging of the two dimensions is causing the physical distance between them to aggressively collapse. This literally mutates the real world into an unstable, gooey environment where gravity shifts on a whim. Time loops back on itself, and the laws of physics are completely broken. This means the final battle will not just be a simple physical fight with a monster. It will be a desperate and disorienting scramble for survival in a reality that is actively eating itself. We cannot ignore the sheer, unfiltered panic radiating from the older teenagers. Every terrified glance exchanged between Nancy and Jonathan and Robin as they frantically load shotguns in the back of a speeding, dented station wagon screams the truth. The Duffer Brothers are absolutely not interested in giving us a neat and tidy fairy tale ending with a pretty bow on top. They are here to create a beautifully tragic and incredibly violent symphony of destruction. It honors a decade of brilliant character development, while brutally reminding us that you cannot fight a war against the literal embodiment of death without taking some heavy and casualties. The ultimate victory might cost them the very town they are trying to save. Hawkins might not just be broken, but it might be entirely erased and reduced to a smoking crater of ash and terrifying memories by the time the final credits roll. The mental toll on these kids is going to be absolutely unimaginable. They started out just wanting to play a fantasy board game in a cozy basement and eat pizza. Now, Mike Wheeler has to watch his best friends make sacrifices he cannot prevent. Nancy Wheeler has to finally choose between the love of her life and the survival of her family. Add in the absolute chaos of the United States military actively hunting 11. They are treating her like a rogue radioactive weapon, rather than a deeply traumatized teenager who just wants to be loved. You have a recipe for the most stressful television event of the entire decade. The emotional weight of this story is crazy. The visual effects are straight-up blockbuster movie quality. The heavy synthesizer soundtrack is pulsing with dread, and the suspense is physically exhausting to even think about. So as we stand on the edge of the end of an era, we are watching our childhood favorites gear up for a literal suicide mission. They are going into the dark, beating heart of a hive mind that wants to reduce their world to toxic dust. I have to urgently ask you to mentally prepare yourselves for the absolute worst-case scenarios. Get your tissues ready and hug your loved ones. Make sure your favorite cassette tape is always ready to play. Whatever you do under any circumstances, do not answer the phone if you hear the heavy ticking of a grandfather clock on the other end. The final epic battle for Hawkins is officially here. The board is set and the dice have been rolled. There is absolutely no turning back now for any of them. If you want to survive the impending apocalypse and catch every single mind-blowing sci-fi breakdown before the monsters completely breach your reality and turn your neighborhood into the upside down, you need to be a permanent part of the scene, Tatva community, right this second. We are going to be obsessively dissecting every single hidden Easter egg and every frame of footage. We will cover every insane theory all season long. That makes seeing Tatva your ultimate and definitive survival guide for the end of the world. Drop your wildest theories in the comments right now so we can debate them. Hit that like button to manifest some much needed plot armor for Steve Harrington. Subscribe to Seeing Tatva immediately and let us boldly face the terrors of the upside down together.